Ladies and gentlemen, non-binary listeners, heroes and heroines, crooks and crookians, amigos and amigas, squad and familia, Ava Max, the audio performance you are about to enjoy discusses casinos and gambling. We do not recommend gambling with money you cannot afford to lose or that is needed to pay bills. If you have a gambling problem, contact your problem gambling hotline. If you do not know how to contact your problem gambling hotline, send an email to help@casinocombat.com. We will find that number for you and provide it to you. Our hosts' past performances are not indicative of anyone's future results, including his own. All materials presented here are based on actual facts. Names and dates are changed to protect the innocent and the guilty. Some events unrelated to outcomes may be omitted in the interest of brevity and clarity. The contents of this podcast are the property of Volcanic Dingo LLC. All rights reserved. It's me, it's TRG, the Ramblin Gambler, just trying to make a living and doing the best I can.
Lyrics, dude. Recite him some lyrics.
If all of the kings had their queens on the throne, we would pop champagne and raise a toast. To all of you who are fighting alone, Bay, you're not dancing on your own. You are not dancing on your own. If you are listening to this episode of this podcast, you are a part of our squad. Welcome to episode 181 of our Casino Combat podcast. But let me quote the great one just briefly, and then I'll tell you what's going on.
This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
It is crazy. Let me tell you what I'm doing. Let me fill in the gaps here a little bit. I was not planning to do an episode today. I was not planning to do this at all. And I realized as I was making notes for the next episode to be recorded sometime next week that I had enough material for an episode. In fact, I had enough material really for 2 episodes. A beginner view of a question and an answer, a beginner view of an idea, a beginner view of a story, and then an advanced view of exactly the same material. So I rang up T-Rex, he had time, and I am literally recording 2 episodes at the same time. 2 versions of the same material. This episode 181, I'm going to give you the battle plan in a minute. This episode is the beginner version of all this material. And at the same time, we are then jumping over and recording the advanced version of this material for episode 182. So, couple different takes, couple different looks at the same thing, and we're going to release these a couple days apart, but we are literally doing this on the fly from half a page of notes, looking up song lyrics as we go, just kind of pulling this all together. So, let me give you the battle plan. Let me tell you what we are going to do. We're going to start off with a Questions My Sons Ask segment. Valley Nomad was really kind of the trigger for this in the Slack virtual VIP lounge. He had a great question, and I immediately went, I love your question, and I got 2 answers for you, and that was kind of the jumping off point for this. Then we're going to do a Moment of Casino Wisdom segment, and we are going to revisit a very, very important wisdom that I don't talk about often enough. Then we are going to do a Moment of Koncepts segment, and I want to kind of put in the mental blender, a couple of different wisdoms, an aspect of the core concepts, and I love to do that. I love to take ideas from both of those sets of things, from the core concepts and from our book of casino wisdom, and I'm going to show you those ideas thrown in a mental blender just a couple of ways, and then we're going to adjourn to the virtual VIP lounge. I've got a story I want to retread for you, and that's going to wrap it up. This is tough. Chevy said, this is crazy, this is crazy, this is crazy. This is crazy. This is a little tough. This is a little difficult. Keeping this straight in my aging brain is a bit of a challenge, but we're going to try to do this and crank out 2 episodes very quickly. Same material in a couple different ways. As always, all true from a certain point of view. So we've got a battle plan. Let me tell you what's going on with the squad. As hard as it is to believe, I put out my last episode just before Thanksgiving, just a few days ago, And I was telling you the big news from the squad. Well, in addition to having some Excelsior Brigade members join us, which is always fabulous and always important. But in addition to that, I was telling you that we booked a cruise, right? We're going to take another group cruise on MSC's Meraviglia, leaving New York City March 15th. Love to have you come. Love to have you join. Email me, trg@casinocombat.com. Spell combat with a K. We've started to book people on this cruise. It's going to be a great time. We're going to have our own private blackjack table. We're going to have a welcome party. We're going to comp your drinks. It's going to cost you $300 or $400 depending on what cabin they assign to you. And then you're going to get that money back in free slot play or promotional chips in the casino as soon as the chip sails. It is truly a per cabin deposit just to make sure that you don't stiff the cruise line and decide, oh, well, it's free. It didn't cost me anything. I'm not going to show up. That's just a little insurance on their part to make sure that people don't no-show. And you'd think that'd be enough. You'd think that would be enough going on in the Casino Combat Galaxy, that we would not need to be doing anything else. But that could not be further from the truth, because I just finished a meeting with my bosses, with the PCH partners, and now I am thrilled to tell you that in addition to cruising out of New York City on March 15th, we are also doing a listener blackjack cruise on July 20th, 26th, leaving from Seattle, going up to Alaska on the MSC ship Poesia. Not sure. Those European pronunciations maybe get away from me. It's Poesia. Equine Ensign has done some research already and informs me that this ship is in dry dock. It's being refurbished. It's going to be done in April. It is very much like getting a chance to go on a relatively new ship. We are going to go up to Alaska. We are going to see some glaciers and eagles and bears, but the fun kind of bears. Not the bears that catch us in a bad way. We're going to go to Ketchikan. We're going to go to Juneau. We are going to make a couple glacier stops and tours. Going to stop in Canada, because you always got to stop in Canada by law when you leave Seattle and return to Seattle. It's going to be a great time. I am inviting you to come be comped on either or both. That's right. You are welcome to come on both of these cruises. And if this is your first time, if you saw this from a search, if you saw this tile, if Spotify or Apple or somebody showed you this and said maybe, I want to ask you this very seriously. How many podcasts do you listen to the first episode, and in the first 15 minutes, the person hosting the podcast says, hey, I don't know you, you don't know me, just send me an email and I'll get a little basic information from you, name, address, date of birth, how you play, and come on a comped cruise with me. Come on 2 comped cruises with me. Meet great people, meet my friends, meet my listeners. We will have a blast. We did this earlier this year. We had a great time. That is an offer that is almost too good to be true. And I know what they say. If you hear something on the internet that is too good to be true, don't trust it. This guy TRG is trying to rip you off. He's trying to scam you. He's trying to cheat you somehow. I'm not. I am truly not. I can deliver on everything I just told you. I have done it in the past. I will do it again. It is not difficult. It is not a scam. And beyond that, you don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe this guy calling himself the Ramblin Gambler that talks way too much on your device. You don't. If you're on Facebook, go on Facebook, search for Casino Combat Squad, ask to join, we'll accept you, and ask the people in the group, is this guy for real? Do any of you know him? Have any of you met him? And you're going to find out, yeah, they know me, they've met me. And you're going to say, hey, can he really do this? Can he comp me on a cruise? And they're going to go, yeah, he can. Some of them are going to say, yeah, we've been on cruises with him. This is all very, very real. But you're going, I'm not on Facebook. Okay. Cool, I got that covered. You're not on Facebook. Are you on Instagram? I'm at Gambler Ramblin' on Instagram. Find me, right? Throw me a like, a subscribe, a share, whatever those things are that as a content creator I have to beg you for. So throw those on there and just find one of my posts and post or one of my Instagram posts and just say, hey, Does anybody know this guy? Is he real? And you'll get plenty of answers, but you're like, oh, I'm not on Instagram, and you could have set that all up. I suppose I could have. Shoot me an email, trg@casinocombat.com. I will, with permission, get some people who have already been on cruises with me, who have met me. I'll get some folks to email you. I'll get some folks to confirm for you. If you need to take a phone call with somebody, I'll be happy to do that. We'll be happy to set that up. If you're going to be around Atlantic City, shoot me an email. Let me know. I've got listeners that'll be happy to meet you in person, tell you I'm the real deal. Ditto around the Detroit area. I got folks there. Las Vegas, we always got people in and out of Las Vegas. Gulf Coast, we're still working on our listeners down in Florida. Got plenty of people in Florida. Riptide Halfling, Gator Gambler. A lot of people will be happy to meet you in Florida and tell you this is the real deal. It's not a scam. It's not a trick. It's just the way things work for skilled gamblers that know how to play the game of casino gambling. So, we have a battle plan. We have talked about the great things that are going on in the casino combat galaxy. We have talked about the fact that it is crazy that I am doing 2 episodes on the same topics from 2 different lenses all at the same time. Let's get started with the first item on our battle plan. Questions my sons ask.
What?
My sons ask questions about gambling, friends and family ask questions about gambling, and Excelsior Brigade members in the Slack virtual VIP lounge, like Valley Nomad, ask incredibly good questions about gambling. And I wanted to share that question with you today and my response to his prompt in the flavor that we're doing this particular episode. And so Valley Nomad said, TRG, I know this is not how you teach the strategy, but I've been practicing TRG2 online. That would be TRG2 Always Be Grinding from episodes 62 and 63. So he's been practicing with that, and he says, and when I'm up 5 units, I play to a 3-bet stop loss. Okay, I get that. More small wins, less table time. I play more tables, but I usually do this if I suffer a loss at the first table to help recover. Do you recommend doing this, or should I stay focused on the win 8 to 10 units, then work the 3-unit stop loss? Thanks, Valley Nomad. And this is a great question. This is a truly, truly wonderful question. If you are a beginner, if you are just starting out, if you have rarely done something like this in a casino, if you have never done something like this in a casino, I recommend you do it exactly the way I taught it to the best of your ability. Do that for at least 30 attempts. And I don't really mean practice attempts are fine. And if practice attempts are all you can do, obviously that's fine. But ideally, I'd really like you to do that 30 attempts live in a real casino. You know, one attempt, leave, or an overnight trip where you have a couple attempts and then an evening and then a couple of attempts the next day, and then you head out. Make those 30 attempts. Record the results. I know in my life that what I have taught works, and it works repeatedly in multiple venues, in multiple casinos over multiple years. TRG2, the method he's talking about, Always Be Grinding, I tested that for 4, 5, 6 years. I tested that in Las Vegas. I tested it in Atlantic City. Played it in Biloxi. I played it in Detroit. I played it at $15 tables where dealers have to stand on all 17s. And I played it on $100 tables where dealers hit on all soft 17s. I played it in a variety of places, a variety of ways. I played it over a very long period of time. So my suggestion is, if you are just beginning, play it my way. Do it my way. Prove that you can do it my way. If you can, if you have, and if you then start to see, oh, hey, I think I want to do this, or oh, hey, I think I want to do that, then you're ready for advanced mode. And that's fine. That's great. Go to advanced mode. I'm going to talk about advanced mode in this exact same segment with this exact same prompt in episode 182. If you're listening to this right after it was released, you're going to have to wait a day or two. but do it my way first. Try it my way first. Work through it. Learn from it. Prove you can do it. Prove you have the discipline. Prove you can record it. And then if you want to change some things up, come listen to episode 182. The next thing on our battle plan is a moment of casino wisdom. Casino wisdoms combine information about how casinos operate or information about how players behave in a casino with actions to be taken. It's observational things that myself, friends of mine that I consider good gamblers, it's observations they have made and actions that they know to take in those situations, trying to reduce that to something that we can remember very easily, something that we can touch on very easily, lock our heads around very easily and quickly, because they're intended for situations where you're in the casino and things are happening. There's lights and there's bells and there's buzzers and there's people moving fast. And that's where casino wisdoms come in. Casino wisdom number 60 is a very simple wisdom in its statement, right? Very, very simple. Casino wisdom number 60, have a win stack. That's easy. That's simple. But it's intended to be simple because it's intended to capture a very, very important idea. What do I know about casinos and how they operate, or about what people do in a casino that triggers this thought process, that triggers this wisdom? Have a win stack. Most players, to my observation, very rarely they buy in, they have a pile of chips. Sometimes they're stacked neatly. Sometimes they're just random. Sometimes they're by color. Sometimes they're all just mixed together. They don't really have a rhyme or reason, a purpose. And as a result, as they win, the stack goes up. And as they lose, the stack goes down. And when the stack's done, they make a decision about whether they're going to throw more money at the table or whether they're not. I've literally seen players say to the pit boss, "What am I in for?" Because they don't remember how many times they put more money on the table. They really don't know. And I've often seen players stop and count and go, "Oh, wow, I'm up $500. They didn't know. They couldn't look. This idea of running at least 2 stacks. And if you are a beginner, run 2 organized stacks. I often say, as an ode to the 17-time champ, that I'm a doctor of stackonomics. I like building stacks. I like maintaining stacks. From a beginner point of view, you want 2 stacks. This is one of those foundational ideas. This is one of those things that I think is the secret sauce. This is one of those things that I think it makes me different in what I teach from a lot of people. And I'm sure other people who also consider themselves casino teachers have taught similar things, have said similar things. Great minds do think alike. I'm not taking away from anybody else. But I do think this is part of the secret sauce of casino combat. I do think this is one of our standard operating procedures that you as a beginner need to get down. You need to have this sorted. You need to know that when I start, this is how I stack my chips. This is my abacus. This is the tool the casino allows me to have on the table that doesn't break any rules, that how I position things can tell me where I am in my game. And we are not all going to do this the same way. We don't all have to do this the same way. I have done some videos on the Spotify subscription video channel. I have done some videos of how I stack my chips, and I've made some suggestions. Encourage you to check that out. A great resource for the small amount of money we collect to have access to that, in my never so humble opinion. But it doesn't all have to be exactly my way. But the point is this. I normally recommend, as a beginner, your buy-in should be 10 units. I stack those 10 units to my left, near my left hand. I am left-handed. My wife, Mrs. TRG, the radiant goddess of casino combat, she stacks those to her right. She is right-handed. And in my mind, mentally, as soon as I sit down and I have my chips, well, there's a little space to the right of that, to the right of my play stack, and that's my win stack. My win stack starts at 0 every time, obviously, or almost every time. I guess there are a few minor exceptions if I've been on another table and have a couple pink chips, 250 chips to tip with or something. But in its most basic form, in its most solid beginner form, I have my 10-unit buy-in, and I have my place that I'm going to put my win stack, and every time I finish a hand, if I have won, I pull that win back, I pull the original bet back, I stop the game, I rebuild my 10-unit stack. Anything that's above or beyond 10 units, it goes in the play stack. And now I have visually a representation of exactly where I am. And that tool brings focus. That tool brings an unemotional calmness, as Badger Baron correctly observed. And it also brings me calmness if I'm playing TRG4, win more, keep more, and I've lost 3 chips. I made the 1-unit bet and lost. I made the 2-unit bet and lost. And wow, I just lost 3 chips. Wow, 3 units it's only 3. I can look down quickly, and if I have something in the play stack, that's 7 units, and I have a couple chips in the wins, and I'm going, okay, well, I'm really only down 1. And I'm playing TRG4, so I've lost 2. If I win 2, well, that's the 4-chip magic. I'm going to be right back where I started. My stacks of chips, my 2 stacks of chips, always right away tells me where I am in the game. It tells me, okay, well, that play stack's getting smaller and smaller. Okay, maybe it's about time to be done. Maybe it's about time to wrap up. Sometimes the combination of the play stack and the win stack taken in their entirety tell me, okay, maybe I'll just be done and take my 2-unit win. Very important that you maintain that stack process however you're going to maintain that, however you're going to do that. This is not one of those casino wisdoms that you should overlook. It should be a foundational part of everything you do. And if you're playing craps, then maybe that's a little bit different. If you're playing bubble craps, maybe you need to take some buttons, some pennies, something to be that same tool for you, to be that same process. And if you get to the point where you're advanced, you can sometimes do all of this in your head. That's very possible as well. I can do virtual chips in my head and do TRG4 on a bubble craps machine just fine. But once again, at a beginner level, make this part of your process. Have a goal, in my never so humble opinion, of becoming a doctor of stackonomics, of making that such a part of what you do that it's always just instinctive, that it's always just natural. And when you're beginning, you need that visual roadmap. You need that distinction. You need that emotional center. You need that ability to go, well, this is just my next bet. And that all happens from the very simple casino wisdom number 60, have a win stack. I think the next thing we're doing, I love this part. I love this next one. The next thing we are going to do is a moment of concepts, and you are going to love this one, I'm telling you.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind.
Thing means nothing.
What? A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination.
When I do these moment of concepts segments, and admittedly some of them have colored outside the lines a little bit, but when I do a moment of concepts segment, I ideally like to take a core concept, that's the concept part, and a wisdom, that's the moment part, and I like to throw them in a mental blender, and I like to challenge you to think a little bit. I like to kind of make those things that you can ponder a little bit. And in this case, I really want to kind of combine two, and I really want to call you to action. I really want to talk about the psychology of this whole casino combat thing that we're doing. So for today, I want to take a core concept, which is win the month, not the machine, the table, or the day. And if you take a small loss for the month, make it up with comps and gifts. And I want to put that in the mental blender with Casino Wisdom number 42, have a winning mindset or don't gamble. And I guess if I'm being honest, we should also throw in there Casino Wisdom number 77, if you don't ask, you don't get. So let's take those two wisdoms and that core concept, and let's look at those a little bit today from a beginner's point of view and have some deep thoughts. So why this concept? Why this core concept? Why these particular casino wisdoms? It's because I've got a hard truth I have to deliver to you. I take my responsibilities very seriously, perhaps a little too seriously, you might say. I do. I take this very seriously. And having now been a casino host for a little, about a year, just right around a year now, maybe a little bit more, I have a really hard truth that I have to deliver to many of you. Not all of you, certainly not all of you. Some of you are a little bit too much the other way, but for the most part, what I need to tell you all is that y'all have imposter syndrome. Y'all do. Most of you think that your play does not justify comps. You really, really do. And it couldn't be further from the truth. It really, really could not be further from the truth. So this comes to literally, A, have a winning mindset. Believe that you're good enough. Believe that casinos will look at your play and they will decide they want to do something for you to get that play into their building. And realize that if you don't ask, you don't get. I think we're going to have a story about, we're going to have a story about that coming up here in the next segment in the virtual VIP lounge. Y'all need to get past your imposter syndrome. You need to believe that your play is good enough. Now, that does not mean that if you come and say, hey, TRG, I was just looking on Norwegian and they are getting ready to do a 22-day cruise leaving from Melbourne, Australia and going all around Australia and going to the Philippines. Can you get me comped? No, that maybe not. Right? Maybe not. Maybe we're not getting you that one, depending on who you are. But you have to believe that your play is good enough. And I believe that if you really think about it and you really look at things, the track record shows that all of us are very, very compable. The first step, if you are a beginner, is to believe that is possible, to believe that will happen, to believe that can happen. And you have to ask, and you have to put yourself out there, and you have to be willing to be told no, because our casino wisdom is correct. If you don't ask, you don't get. If you do not have the mindset of a winner, you're not going to make the ask, and you're certainly not going to get. And to our core concepts, being compable, being able to receive comps and gifts is foundational to having success through this process, particularly in the months where the gambling hasn't exactly gone your way, hasn't exactly gone your direction. So I encourage you to try to get past the imposter syndrome, to try to get past that feeling of I'm not a big enough gambler, I'm not a big enough deal, I'm not necessarily going to qualify for this or that, and you're not going to qualify for all of it. You're not. There are differences. We'll talk about some of that at the time, and we get to the next episode. We'll talk about some of those situations. But the first step, the beginner step, is A, know that comps are very, very much possible. And then know this very, very important truth. Premier Casino Hosting has, in many ways, taken a somewhat unique position in the market. They're going to fight for all the comps they can for everyone, regardless of their level of play. They are going to, honestly and accurately, they're going to fight for comps for everyone, whether they are going to get a check or not. And they're my bosses, and I accepted the job, and I am going to do that too. We are going to get you what you can. Come into things with a reasonable mindset. There has a winning mindset idea there, right? Professor Porsche and Lady Mac, they went into our Niagara trip with the hope that their play would be good enough, would be enough that they would get a casino rate. That was their hope. That was their expectation. That was their ask. The reality was that the property was more than happy on those particular nights with that particular occupancy to just fully comp them their stay. Is that going to happen the next time? I don't know. If it's 4th of July weekend, probably not. Probably not going to happen. And then I'll also point out to you that an aspect of this idea, an aspect of if you don't ask, you don't get, we actually ask for a different property. We asked if we could be comped at Seneca Allegheny. The reality was we could not, regardless of our level of play. We could not be comped those nights. But the property then said, but we have another property 30 minutes further. If you would be willing to do something for us, travel a little further, we would be willing to do something for you. Comp you a little more than perhaps we would normally be willing to comp. This is a negotiation. This is a conversation, but you have to feel qualified to be in the conversation. You have to feel like you are qualified to ask and get. And you ask by getting in touch with me. You ask just, I hope I am not a scary guy. I try not to be. I realize that with the Fu Manchu mustache, sometimes little children that don't know me take a minute to warm up to me. I can be a bit intimidating in that fashion, and I don't intend to be. I do intend to be intimidating in a casino. Often intimidating people around me in a casino has some value. It does. I'm all good with that. Those are carefully curated aspects of how I present myself in a casino. But at the other end of a keyboard, I hope I'm not a scary guy to you. Just shoot me an email, trg@casinocombat.com. Tell me, this is who I am and this is what I like. Well, not exactly. I do like that song, but tell me, this is who I am as a player. When I go, this is how I like to play. Don't exaggerate it. Don't sugarcoat it. Just tell me who you are as a player. And then tell me where you want to go. And I'm going to relay that forward. But as we talk about imposter syndrome, understand that in almost all cases, for everybody, we've got people that are from a $15 average player for an hour or two to people that are thousands of dollars a hand for lots and lots of hours a day. And somehow we manage to get all of them comped. We do. Over and over and over. And sometimes, yes, we get you the casino rate. That's the best comp we can get you. Sometimes we get you BOGO. Buy one night, get one night. Right? Sometimes it's that. It depends. Sometimes it's like my Seneca experience. We can't do A, but we can do B. You ask and you said, I'd really like to be comped at Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas. And the response is, we can do that. This is Planet Hollywood's response, not mine. But the thing I'll relay back to you is, we can do Planet Hollywood. They're willing to comp Thursday. They're willing to give you the casino rate on Friday and Saturday. The casino rate on Friday and Saturday is $145 plus resort fees. But if you would be willing to stay at Harrah's and take Mountain View, well, then we'll do everything but Saturday comped, and the Saturday night casino rate there is $65. And now you can pick. You can choose what you want. You could say to me, oh, what is another great example, a great beginner example? Hey, TRG, I really want to go to Las Vegas. I've never been to Las Vegas. I'm really thinking, here's how I play, and I'm really thinking I would like to stay at Caesar's Palace. And I might come back to you once again and say, given your level of play, given your play history, the best I can do is casino rate, and Caesar's Palace is a pretty pricey place, so here's what your numbers are going to look like. And you can say, great, thank you. We're good. You didn't need to feel like you couldn't ask. You didn't need to feel like I was an intimidating, scary guy and you couldn't ask. Ask. We'll ask Caesar's. We'll know once Caesar's tells us what's possible. But you might look at that number and go, that's great. Okay, we provided value. You weren't an imposter at all. Your play justified something, and you're happy with it. On the other hand, you might go, oh, geez. Yeah, I was hoping for more than that. And then we'll talk options. Maybe it's as simple as, would Flamingo work? Flamingo's my go-to. I love Flamingo. It's a great fit for me. It's a little bit smaller. I like it. It works perfectly. And you might feel the same way. We'll just slide you right over to Flamingo. We'll let Caesars know, and you're all set. Or I might go, it's your first time. Let's do this. You said you're going to go for 5 nights. Let's do this. Let's do 2 nights at Caesar's Palace. They'll comp 1, and the casino rate, that's not bad, right? You're now at less than $100 a night to be at Caesar's Palace. And then Why don't you budget in a little money for Uber? And then let me do 3 nights comped at the Plaza, right? 5 nights total. And that way, if it's your first time, you really do want to see Fremont Street. The Mob Museum is right there. This is right there. You can go down to El Cortez. This is really like, let's break it up. If it's your first time, I'm going to recommend that you go to Fremont Street anyway. So I can get you 3 nights comped at the Plaza with this play for sure. They'd love to have you. Break up your stay, sightsee one place. Like there's parts to this, right? We can build this out. If you said, I'm going to Las Vegas because I'm going to Las Vegas, but I really don't care about so much the sightseeing stuff. I just want to relax. I just want to chill. I just want a nice meal and a good casino. And I'm going to go, let's go. And I'm only going for 3 nights. I really just want to get in, get settled, chill out, play, have something to eat, have a drink, listen to some live music, have a cool day the next day. Great. Let me put you at Sunset Station. I absolutely can get you comped at Sunset Station, right? So think about those pieces parts. We're going to jump to the next segment here. We're going to wrap up this episode. It looks like we might be a little on the short side. Atlantic City Empress will be less than thrilled with me because I'm not going to get to her usual run length, and that's okay. I think this is going to be a really interesting, fun 2-part episode just to kind of wrap these thoughts up. Our foundational idea is comps and gifts for those situations where we don't win the month or the quarter or the year or whatever it is. Don't think you're not good enough. It's easy when you're starting out. It's easy to think, oh, my play isn't enough or what have you. And not make that ask, not follow our casino wisdom of if you don't ask, you don't get. Have a winning mindset. Build on that foundation of comps and gifts. Be willing to ask. And if you're not going to ask me, be willing to ask when you're in the moment in the casino. You would be surprised at how many casinos I've been in where by simply saying to the pit boss, hey, I've been playing a couple hours, could you help me out? That they'll go ahead and write you a comp to go get food. They will right there. Or, hey, could you take care of my parking? Right? You didn't have a parking comp, but you've been playing for 3 hours. They're probably going to try to take care of you in that way. The first step in getting comped, and maybe this is the best way to wrap this up. The first step toward getting comped is to get over this imposter syndrome and believe that you're good enough and believe that you deserve to be comped and make that ask. And if you're looking for things big picture, places you've never been, please feel free to ask me. I am most likely going to find a way to help you out and get things set up for you. And our next segment is a trip to the virtual VIP lounge for some sips and a story.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Welcome to the most must-listen-to segment in casino lifestyle podcasting, the Virtual VIP Lounge. Our lounge is open, and we have the best virtual everything virtually all the time. The best virtual food and drink served anywhere on the interwebs, guaranteed or your money back. I was not planning to do this, everybody. I am poorly prepared when I came into the glorious Casino Combat Studio in parts unknown. I honestly have got about a half a Fiji water here that I've been sipping on as we go. It's been a lot of fun. I hope this set of episodes is as fun for all of you as it's been for me to do. It has been crazy. It's been absolutely nuts, jumping back and forth at 2 different kind of mindsets, jumping from one thing to another. T-Rex has done an amazing job of jumping on short notice and kind of editing as we go. I've had a blast, but just a Fiji water, and it's still pretty early in the day, even to say it's 5 o'clock somewhere. If you can, as always, press pause. If it's the right time of day, when you press pause, pour yourself a bourbon, pour yourself a vodka, fix a plate. I love hanging out in virtual VIP lounges. When we get we did the wrap up episode for the last cruise, for the first blackjack cruise. And, I said that we did 2 cools and I was a fool. And I said I was a fool because I didn't use the Sky Lounge on the Meraviglia nearly enough. Really cool lounge at the top of the ship. Served some small plate appetizers. One of the things I am going to do when we go on our cruise in March is I'm going to spend some more time at the Sky Lounge. I am going to enjoy some very nice cocktails up there to make up for the one that I am not having today. But if you can, have a drink with me. So what I wanted to do today for episode 181 of our Casino Combat podcast is I wanted to tie in something that I think falls in line with our Moment of Koncepts segment, falls in line with our beginner set ideas for this particular episode. And I've told this story before. I know I have. I probably told it the first time I taught. If you don't ask, you don't get. But I wanted to go back to the story of the first comp that I had ever received. And it's probably our third, our fourth trip to Las Vegas as a couple. And I started to finally understand that comps were a thing. Our first trip, newlyweds, on a honeymoon, I didn't know anything about comps. Didn't know they existed. Didn't know they were a thing. And you need to understand the historical viewpoint here. When I started going to Las Vegas, each property was individually owned. Most of them with very little separation from being owned by the mob to being owned by corporations. And everything was relational and everything was transactional. If you were just an average guy there for the weekend who didn't have an existing relationship with the property, you were not getting room comps unless they were getting comped on the back, and you had to know to ask. And everything was based on what the pit boss saw you doing. The pit bosses then were making notes in notepads, no computer stations, no rewards cards that you were swiping, no kiosks to see your points, no ability to just comp yourself based on your reward credits. None of that existed. It was merely the pit boss watching you play, making notes about your play, and then making a decision on what you had asked. And we were at Imperial Palace, which is what they used to call the Link back in the day. They used to call it Imperial Palace. And we're at Imperial Palace. We're not staying there. We're actually staying next door at the Flamingo. But we're at the Imperial Palace. It's well past midnight. And we've been playing $10 a hand blackjack. Mrs. TRG's probably playing $5 a hand blackjack. Not super big. Table minimums at the time, right? $10, $5, that kind of thing. And we've been playing quite a while, and I've been stacking up chips. I've been stacking chips to the point where the dealer has started to kind of color me as we go and add some green chips to my stack to balance her rack and everything, and building up, and we've been playing quite a while, and I notice that there's a pit boss change is about to happen, and I see them at the other end of the pit talking, and they're kind of comparing notes, and the new guy's making some notes in his book. And I said to my wife, who had complete imposter syndrome, I said, watch this. You hungry? Do you want to, it's late. Let's go get some breakfast, right? Seems like a fun Vegas thing to do. Let's go I said, I'm going to get us a comped breakfast. And she's like, you're not getting us a comped. She doesn't know how any of it works either. She's like, no, you're not. Be realistic. And so I said, I am. I'm going to get us a comped breakfast. And I knew just enough, just barely enough, just in beginner mode, right? I said, I am. Watch this. And so I'd won enough that I was willing to risk a little. I hadn't invented TRG 1 or 2 or 3 yet. I'm just playing by instinct. I'm just playing by what I've read in a couple books. I'm just making it up as I go. But I'm like, watch this. And so to her horror, to her terror, I switched to playing green chips. Probably the first green chips I ever played in my entire life. And I switched to playing green chips, and I watch as the pit boss comes down, and he comes down, and I say, oh, hey, how you doing? He says, oh, I'm good. How are you? And he makes some notes in his book, and we play a few more hands, and we get to a shuffle, and I leave the green chip out in the circle, and he comes back by, and we're playing another hand, and I said, hey, by the way, it's getting late. We've been playing. We saw the show earlier. We've been playing quite a while. We got to wrap it up, but could you write us a comp to go up and to the cafe and grab some late night breakfast? And he looks in his book and he goes, just the two of you? And I said, yeah, just my wife. And I said, it doesn't need to be anything big, just so we can go up and, just grab a late night bite to eat real quick. And he goes, oh yeah, well, sure. Yeah, absolutely. No problem at all. And so he writes out a slip and he hands it over to me, and we play a couple more hands just in good faith, and then we color up, and we had a win, nothing big. We had a modest win, and I was trying to look like I knew what I was doing. So when he handed me the comp, I didn't immediately read it and look at it and study it. I just acted like I'd been there before. I had no imposter syndrome for me in the moment, probably because there were quite a few Bud Lights in me at the moment. I had a lot of beer muscles, I'm sure. So we color up, we take our money, we go to the cage, and now we're well away from the table, and I take the comp slip out of my pocket, and I show it to my wife. And now keep in mind, this is probably 1992, 1993, so keep the price points in your head, right? But it is the Vegas Strip, and I show her the comp, and the comp is for $30. Which is more than enough to go up to the cafe and grab a mimosa and grab a steak and eggs and grab an omelet and have money left over. The comp was written for way more than it needed to be written for us to do what we had to do. A classic example of if you don't ask, you don't get. A classic example of you have to get past your imposter syndrome. A classic example of one of our foundational ideas is if in fact you don't manage to win the month, that you make things up with comps and gifts. And that is the emphasis that I have been trying to place during this episode. So please, tip your waitresses, tip your bartenders, tip your dealers. If you have a host, tip your host. Remember your casino wisdoms, everyone. Please don't tip away your wins. I have spoken. Everything you heard here is true from a certain point of view. In 10 years, we may find out I was wrong about all of this. It's time for leaving, and I hope you understand I was born a Ramblin' Man. Love it, hate it, it don't matter. Please share with your family and friends. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the gift of your precious time. I truly appreciate it. Please stick around. The best part of the podcast is next, the Casino Combat Blues.
From writer-director Ryan Johnson.
The Holy Grail. A perfectly impossible crime.
Wake Up Dead Man has critics singing its praises.
God help me. Anything else?
It's a deliciously entertaining mystery.
That's nice.
It's certified fresh.
It's a miracle.
Okay, you're freaking me out now.
It's the best Knives Out movie yet.
This case is solvable, right?
Oh, you'll see. It's fun.
Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery starring Daniel Craig. Now playing in select theaters on Netflix December 12th. Rated PG-13.
For Atlantic City Empress, Casino Combat's ace. There are profits in the casino tonight, I can feel it in my bones. I had a premonition, you should probably play alone. I know the house has an advantage, but that's part of the thrill. If we follow the core concepts, the chips begin to spill. So baby, here's your player's card, put your bankroll in your hand. Use just some of that money now, do it just the way we planned. Just follow the core concepts and you could win several grand. Well, it's good if it goes down like that, don't have to play to lose. It's gambling as a business, the Casino Combat Blues. Casino Combat Blues. The dealers and the pit bosses, the security and the law, the winning and the losing and the tricks nobody saw. No matter if it's blackjack, roulette or craps, you gotta carry defense cause you always carry cash. There's lots of shady characters, lots of dirty deals. Everybody has an alias cause that's more fun we feel. It's the lure of winning money, it's got a very strong appeal. Perhaps you'd understand it better standing in my shoes. It's the ultimate enticement, it's the Casino Combat Blues. The Casino Combat Blues. Whoa. You don't see it in the headlines, you don't hear it every day. No one's trying to stop us and we don't need to go away. We can gamble in Atlantic City, we can gamble in LA, we can gamble out in Vegas. I mean, we're here to stay. Gambling's propping up the budgets of folks like me and you. You ask right down to